So now we're going to talk about how we graph. If I'm going to graph this, I know a couple things. One, I know that I have a range of x values that goes all the way out to 60 and -4. And I also know I have a range of y values that goes from 68 down to -9. So I need to fit all that on here. So let's see, if I go out to, so it helps to like take a careful look at your graph and think about how much space you have and what your scaling needs to be. So I know that I need to go to, from -9 to 68, which means I need almost 80 going up and down here. Space for almost 80 different numbers. And I need space for almost 60 different numbers going this way. So if I were to draw a line across, let's say I would do, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Oh, barely. All right, all the way out there at the very edge is 60. And then going up and down, let's see if I do 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Every 5 bars is 20, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 40, 4, 8, 12, 16, 60, 64, 68. That's as high as I need to go right there. 72, 76, 80. Okay, so all of those sort of longer tick marks are every 20, 40, 60, and 80. And I'm going to label these too. 10, 20, 30, not 40. 30, 40, 50, and 60. I'm doing that one on top because I know that I have a negative value, so I'm going to make a dot down there. And then down here I have -4, -8, and -12. So every single one of these needs to be just written out. I don't have to write every hashtag, but I need to just make sure that I am sort of citing how long all of these are when I do this. Otherwise, nobody can read your graph. So I have my first one. I know it starts at 0 and 68. And it goes through, that's 0 and 80. 0 and 68. Here is 60 right at the top of the black box, 64, 68. So I know it's going to go right there. And then I also know that I have one that is at 60 and -4. So there's 0 and 68. Now I need to do 60 and -4. That is all the way over here. 60 and -4 is going to be right at that point right there. And I should be able to just connect these. All of my other points on the line should be between these 2 points. And they should be more or less 100% perfect. I can't actually tell if my dot, that looks pretty good. I'm going to just draw one more. I'm going to go right at 60. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think that looks okay. So those are 2 spots. And just to make sure, it said my other point was 40x and 20y. So if I go out to 40x, I should have a point that's 20y, just to make sure. And it looks like I do. 40 and 20y is on my line. So here are my 2 points that were on my line, and there's my x-axis. My other one is starts at 0 and -9. So that is when x is 0, this should be -9. So there's it should be right about there. Sorry, that's -11. See, these are the little mistakes that students make in class, and we just need to make sure that we're thinking through all of our stuff. Should be right about there. And then I know that I have a couple points on the line. I have 0 and 9, and I also know I have 25 and 16. So let's see, I'm going to try to find 25 and 16. So here is 25, and then I'm going to go up 4, 8, 12, 16 right there. So these are my 2 points, and I should just be able to go right through them and should be about right. And then this told me that my answer should be, so my point of intersection is right there, and if it matches my answer, x should be at 35. So if I follow this down, this does in fact go to 35. And when I follow this over this way, it should end up at roughly 26. So I know each one of these bars is 4, so this would be 24 and 28, and it should be halfway between those. That is at 26. So that shows that my point of intersection matches. And then the last one that I need to do is I just need to show where my point of intersection is on my table. And my point of intersection on my table is, well, let's see. I know that it matches at 35 and 26, so I suppose I could just write 35 and 26 on this. But I'm going to try to show how I know that. So I see 25 here, and let's see. I see 25 there, and I know that if I go up 10 plus 10, this will become 35, and this will go up 10 and become 26. So that is definitely a point on my line that matches. Right, if I did plus 35, this should be plus 35. So that proves that that is a match on my line. And then I could do 36 and 27 and 38 and 28 or whatever, but right, we can sort of go incrementally. So to find the point of intersection on the other table, just to make sure it matches with my lower table, I know that if I go down 20, that I go up 24 here. So it would make sense then that if I went back up 20, or well, let's say if I go up 20, let's make it 20. If I go up 20, this goes back to 20. This is going to go down 24, which means it goes to 44. And if I go up 10, which is half of 20, then this should go down 12, which is half of 24. So this would become 32, and this would become 30. And then if I went up 5, then this should go down. That's going up half of 10. So this should go down half of 12, which means down 6. So this would be 35, and this would be 26. And if I continue going up by 5 each time, this would become 40. This one would become 20. 20. And then if I go up by 5 again, this would become 45, and this one would go down 6, which would mean it would become 14. So there's my table, and I can see, and don't forget to indicate this on your quiz, but I can see that the place where they are both the same is at 35 and 26. So that's highly proficient side of quiz A. In completion. Let me know if you have any questions. So to find the intersection on the other table, just to make sure it matches with my lower table, I know that if I go down 20, that I go up 24 here. So it would make sense then that if I went back up 20, or well, let's say if I go up 20, let's make it 20. If I go up 20, this goes back to 20. This is going to go down 24, which means it goes to 44. And if I go up 10, which is half of 20, then this should go down 12, which is half of 24. So this would become 32, and this would become 30. And then if I went up 5, then this should go down. That's going up half of 10. So this should go down half of 12, which means down 6. So this would be 35, and this would be 26. And if I continue going up by 5 each time, this would become 40. This one would become 20. 20. And then if I go up by 5 again, this would become 45, and this one would go down 6, which would mean it would become 14. So there's my table, and I can see, and don't forget to indicate this on your quiz, but I can see that the place where they are both the same is at 35 and 26. So that's how the proficient side of quiz A in completion. Let me know if you have any questions.